All right, so 2F on the practice test.
I also want 2G.
Okay. Now somebody tell me what's the very last thing you're going to do?
17.
Subtract 1. So it's not a bad idea to do that for yourself and go, okay, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to figure out the first shit first. And then I can take 1 away from it. Totally, because absolute value is in the same place as parentheses. They look like parentheses somebody hammered out. Depends, right? So what do I get in there? Yeah, so what's the absolute value of -3? And then you put a... See, the negative is there, and the absolute value of -3 is 3. Keep going.
18.
Good. Then you do this as it comes. -3 times 6 is -18.
-2.
And -18 divided by 9 is -2. -3, yeah. I owe you $2, I owe you $1, I owe $3.
What about G?
Okay, I like it.
What about the one right? G.
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 G and H.
H is fun. The thing with H is, do you see how there's 2 problems in what? There's a top problem and a bottom problem. Yeah, and then the very last thing you're going to do in part H is division. And I think it's this kind of problem that makes students think division is always last. But if it was always last, where should it be in PEMDAS? It should be at the end. And at 8, it's in the middle. Why is it last on part H?
Because it's
No, I don't blame you. So when I see a problem like, let's not go to variables. 2 plus 1 over 3 minus 5 or something. There's an understood parentheses here that we don't have to write because we make the division bar big and we can see the top of the bottom. But if I were to write this next to each other, I need the parentheses to tell that's the top, that's the bottom. That's why division is last, because everything else is in parentheses. You guys kind of with me? So that's like understood parentheses.
That's how you got to put it in the calculator.
Yeah, if you got to put this like this in the calculator, else you get crap. Because if you put this in, what's it going to do first? Divide 1 by 3, and then you're screwed already. Right? It's going to do order operations. You're just putting it in wrong. So it's not low batteries, it's user error. All right, so let's look at H since we're talking about it, then we'll look at G. Yeah, okay. All right, so on the top, what do you do first on the top there?
Parentheses.
Yeah, so you got 2. What can you do on the way there? Is that all right? What's this?
27.
It was 27.
3 times 3 times 3, right? And then here, yeah, you're now in here. This is
2 times 3 times
2 times 2 times 2 is
8.
8, not 6,
8.
right? All right, now let's look at the bottom also. What can I do on the bottom? What do I have to do first?
Multiply.
Y.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do last, right?
Yeah.
I do this piece, this chunk first. So I get 4 minus, what's 21 times 2? 42.
42.
Life, the universe, and everything. All right.
7 times 6 is 40.
Where did you get 4? I'm sorry.
Where? Which 4?
Not
This
From
one?
up there. Yeah. Oh, you don't solve. You
Yeah,
don't
it's-
solve first addition? Okay.
PEMDAS. So
Great.
please excuse my dumbass son. So subtraction comes last. So he's just going to come for the ride And so these other more important
That's
things.
what- Exactly. We got 4 come from the one.
What
up.
for? Which for?
That's
This-
where the penalty.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right.
So that's the problem. That's
Okay.
1H, yeah. Okay. So what's next on the top?
You got
Those are the ones.
Yeah, what's 8 plus 1?
9,
Can I just do that here?
Yes.
And then next I would do,
3, divided.
yeah, before addition comes division, right? So 27 divided by 9 is,
3.
and on the bottom, Arnold's got this one. 42 divided by 7 is
6.
6. Like it. And now this looks really nice. 2 and 3 and 1. 6. 4 minus 6.
Negative 3.
Bam. But again, it's all about breaking it up into 2 main pieces and then breaking this up into what do I care about first? What do I care about next? So I think some students feel like I'm supposed to be able to do all this at once, and my God, I've never said that to you. That's impossible. Look how good you are in math. You can't. You got to do one thing at a time. I'm sorry. All right. And what was it? G? And G's kind of long. Let's see. All right, what are the 2 last things we're going to do? Yeah, definitely the plus 2 and the 6 minus. So 6 minus I don't know yet plus 2. So I got to figure out the I don't know yet part because it's all parentheses is first. Inside the parentheses. So watch. 6 minus plus 2. They come from the right. Inside here, what do I do? 2 minus 4.
2.
Negative 2. Let me go ahead and rewrite.
Then you're in stone.
Try to skip it. Oh. Good. Then the exponent. Good. 6 minus 3 plus, yeah, everything else just comes from the right.
Negative 8.
Good. Negative 8. I'm a plus. Now what? What chunk do I do now?
Divided before that.
No distribution.
Divided,
I got to do this division multiplication chunk.
division.
You guys see that? Because it's surrounded by addition and subtraction, and that is at the asset in appendix. So 6 minus 3 plus, what's negative 8 divided by
Not the
4?
plus, negative. Negative.
20,
Negative 2.
Not the plus, 3, negative 8.
Why?
Because negative with the plus, with the positive. 3, the fourth one.
No, I know, right here, right? Right?
Yeah, negative.
Plus and negative is the same thing as minus.
Yeah, but you said negative.
It is negative. So I could write this like that. Is that what it is? Right?
In the bottom, not, yeah.
I could. I just didn't.
Plus.
Yeah. What's negative 8 divided by 4?
Negative.
Negative 2 times 7. Alright, so 3 minus 14.
That's what I
Feel
said.
better? Plus 2. Plus 2.
Now.
6 minus plus 2. See, they're still coming for the ride. Coming for the ride all the way to the end. What's 3 minus 14?
Negative 11.
Negative 11 plus 2?
Negative 8. Negative 9.
That's right. So negative 11 plus 2. If I was 11 foot down in a hole, I
Yeah,
climbed
yeah.
2 feet up. I'm now only 9 feet down in the hole. That's another way to look at it. So it's money or being in a hole. Right? Plus is putting the ladder in there, and minus is falling down. Whenever I do it that way, I think of that movie Descent, and then I get all freaked out. You ever seen it? Minus and negative is
Positive.
plus 6 plus 9.
15.
15 plus 2?
17.
Shoot.
So 6.
6.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do. Let's do K, and then we'll go do 6. Is that the one you asked for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus 3.
Fail me out with the time. All right. Have more time today. I do have the answer key for this, by the way. Right? I told you I'd have that. Just not giving it to you yet. Obviously. So what happens?
Mega. Instead of
Or you just give them the negative sign?
Well, what's known to be here?
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So you just multiply them by -1, so you get negative p plus 3. Yeah.
plus 3.
Yeah. Minus 15
Plus
plus
6.
6 p. And now it's just like terms, right? 6p minus p.
5.
3 minus 15.
Minus 12.
What's interesting is some of you guys have learned the equals 0 rule that we learn later, and you want to make everything in the universe equal 0. Very bleak. Right? Everything is 0, and so some of you guys would make this equal to 0, and then we're gonna get a value for p. Who the shit said anything was 0? And that's so that's so bleak. Everything is 0. That's so nihilistic. I love it. It is all 0. No, it's not. It's just not. If it doesn't start as an equation, you're not going to get a value for the variable. I don't have enough information. Anything else? What was it? What was it? 6, right? Yeah.
6.
Where did you get the 5? The 5? I know.
So where are my like terms? Negative p plus 6p. Combine those, and then 3 minus 15. So I use these different shaped underlinings to collect like terms, but whatever works. Huh? All right. You guys doing all right? So number 6, which part of number 6? Just any of them?
All the
All right. So the key thing, the worst phrase in English, as far as math is concerned, is less than. Now, first off, can somebody tell me, how do you say that?
7
Is. 7 is less than 8.
8.
So how do I write 7 less than 8? 8 minus 7. That's 7 less than 8. Some of you guys were writing this when I said less than, and I put not is less than, and I don't know if anybody was having trouble understanding, what the hell is this guy talking about? This is not 7 less 8. That doesn't make sense. This is 7 is less than 8. This is 7 less than 8. 7 is less than 8. Oh shit. Not math's fault, is English grammar's fault. But later, when we get into word problems, which is what we're going to get into right after, the next day after the test. Yes. When you do that, you're going to get like negative side lengths of a shed or something. And I always joke that I don't want you to build that shed for me. Because what is that shit? Is that black hole material? It's going to suck me in and go to put my Rick. Oh God! So negative side lengths bad. Negative number of typewriters sold. What the hell? They went and stole a typewriter. I don't know what they did. I'll stop. So that's the worst phrase, though. Everything else is written the same way it says. If I said the quotient of a number in 5, what's quotient mean? Division. So I'll take a number and divide it by 5. I mean, it's exactly the way it's said. But if I said 5 less than a number,
What B divided into A? B divided into A.
B divided into A.
wait a minute. Okay, there's no A, there's no B, so I'm getting a little.
No, there is A or B, but which one is divided?
Oh. All right. So you'll see when I say the quotient of, the order it's given to you is the order you write it.
Mhm.
X number was first, and 5 is second. So it's X divided by 5. Exactly the way it's given to you. Less than is a little bit equal. But if I just asked you, what number is 5 less than 10? What number is 5 less than 10?
5.
What'd you do? You did 10 minus 5, didn't you? So 5 less than 10 is not 5 minus 10. Oh yeah, he's 5 less years than he is, and then he suddenly becomes unborn. Negative 5. He'll be born in 5 years. Well, all right, I'm sorry. I'm joking a little too much. So it's always the reverse for that one phrase. It's so evil. So how do I write 5 less than a number? X minus 5. That's a number. How do you make it 5 less? Take 5 away from it. Maybe. All right, so that shows up, I think, in at least one place in here. Yeah, pardon?
Unless you're doing time travel, then the home shows up 5 years too early.
C for sure. Half a number. Oh, before you guys grab the answer key for yourselves. All right, guys. Half a number. Right, 16. How do I write half a number?
One half X.
I like it. So I can either write 1/2 X, or I could write X over 2. Same meaning. So that's half a number. Added to the product. So added to the product of that number and 9. What's the product? What number did I pick? What did you guys pick for the number? X.
X.
You could have picked N, you could have picked W, it's totally up to you, but we normally pick X. So that's going to be added to the product of that number and 9. What's product mean? Multiply. So what's product of that number 9? 9X. Is
It's equal.
equals 3 more than that number.
Plus 3.
X plus 3.
X plus 3 or 3 plus X, that one doesn't matter because addition doesn't give a shit, right? I like it. So why subtraction care? Because 7 minus 4 is positive 3, but 4 minus 7 is negative. Right? But addition, I don't care which way you write it because 7 plus 4 is 11 and 4 plus 7 is 11. Who cares? Could you do this? All right. I didn't ask you to solve it, did I?
No.
Notice
I didn't
that.
ask, but-
Yeah, but if you did have to solve it, can anybody see what you might want to do first? What's the worst thing? Yeah, I could actually, there's only one fraction, so I would just argue that you could just multiply each thing by 2. Yeah. There's not multiple fractions that kind of counterbalance, it's just one fraction. Multiply everything by, I didn't ask you to solve it, so don't do that. Let me do this, considering, I want to give you enough time to look through this key. So let me tell you the wrong way to do this. If you didn't try the practice test out at all, do not sit down with this and go, oh yeah, yep, I would have done that. And I'm being kind of serious because the first time I ever taught, I made a practice test, mainly because I didn't know how to make a test. I'm like, oh, let me make it. So the practice test I made was for me, putting it, and then I've done it ever since with an answer key. Don't just stare at this answer key and build up false confidence. It's easy to agree with somebody else. Do you see what I'm saying? So be really careful. If you didn't do the practice test at all, don't look at this thing, right? Don't. It's just going to build up false confidence. Yeah. It's in beautiful pink. It's the only pen I can find it. Oh yeah. Let me. put those.
I did it already.
Oh, you got it?
No, but no, I did it by myself already.
Okay, good. We needed a practice test. Let me give you one that's not all.
Yeah. Number 8, please. Professor. Number 8,
Number 8, okay.
please.
Yeah, number 8's like the one I just gave you the answers.
Yeah, you give me the answer, but
No, I'm with you. I understand.
yeah. I did it, but just.
Who is which one? That's this one, okay. I don't know if anybody can see any of that.
Number 8.
8, yeah. How do I go from decimal to percent?
Multiple with 100.
The
Move
beautiful
your
thing is,
decimal point.
if they're in alphabetical order, did I tell you this? If they're in alphabetical order, you move the decimal this way from decimal to percent, you move it that way from percent to decimal. You move it how many times? Twice, because it's per 100. So the very first one has 0.002 as a decimal, so what is it as a percentage?
2.
Where did it end up? What's it say now?
0.2.
0.2%. Right, you can put a 0 in front of you. All right, you ready? So now watch. For example, let's do a nice whole number. 7 hundredths. 7 per 100, that is 7%, right? So this represents 7%. But what is 7 hundredths as a decimal? Which place is the hundredths place? So the shortcut then is, since if I go from a percentage to a decimal, the percent sign means divide by 100. Why is the percentage number always bigger than the decimal number? Because this guy hasn't been divided yet. The symbol means divide. Well, I haven't done it yet. If I do, I get 2 places smaller. So notice, it's another thing to realize is your decimal number will always be smaller than your percent number. Because the decimal has been divided, and hasn't. Does that make sense? Yes. So it's 2 places because I'm dividing by 2 tenths. 100.
Fraction would be,
I like it. Yeah, what? So the fraction would be, from here, what place is that in?
1,000.
Yeah, tenths, hundred, thousandths. So it'd be 2 thousandths. And to be honest, I'd rather you don't even reduce them. But I'll probably put this one on the section that you can't use a calculator. So the reason I normally don't let you reduce that is because if you actually use the fraction button in your calculator, it gives it to you reduced. So I'm like, I want to actually see the work. Right? What about this one? This one starts off as 2/9.
Excuse me?
Yes.
So there is no need to finish this? To stop it? Or to leave
No.
it like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, don't reduce it. It's fine.
It comes
You
one
can,
shot.
if you write that first and then you write it reduced, I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. As long as I see this part.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's important in this problem is how to convert. Reducing is not important in this type of problem.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
I'm going to show this to you. Not that you asked for it, because that's part of my job, is to show you things you don't want to watch. Does anybody know what 1/9 is as a decimal?
0.3.
Oh, look at it. So let's watch. Maybe one of you guys, this is really kind of cool. I don't know what that is as a decimal, right? So let me do this. Let me start off with this. This is a little bit easier to do. Watch this. 0.111 forever. Let me start here. You'll see why.
Because we have it.
Do I know what that looks like as a fraction? No. So what do I do when I don't know something? I'm going to say, okay, what it looks like as a fraction is x, because I don't know it. Is that cool? This is where algebra helps. Now watch. This is so cool. Let me see if anybody gets this. If x is 0.111 forever, what is 10 times x? What happens whenever you multiply by 10? For decimal? Yes. So isn't it going to be 1.111 forever, right? The sucky part about this decimal is the ones don't stop. They go forever. Holy shit. To make a decimal to a fraction is easy unless they just don't stop. I don't know what to put it over then, right? I knew to put this over 1,000 because it stopped in the 1,000th place. They don't stop. But watch. If I subtract, what's 10x minus x? 9x, good, not 10. And then 1 minus 0 is 1, and then these cancel. Divide by 9, x is 1/9. So 1/9 is 0.1 forever. So what's 2/9? 1/9 is 0.1 forever. 2/9 is 0.2 forever. And now you see where on the answer key where I got 0.2222. I just rounded in there. Watch this. You ready? Some of you guys know what 1/3 is as a decimal. Come on, you guys know. What's 1/3 as a decimal? You- 0.333333. What? Now watch this. What's 3/9? 1/9 is 0.1 forever. 2/9 is 0.2 forever. 3/9 is 0.3 forever. And of course 3/9 is 1/3. Yes. To me, that's so cool. I like some of your phrases are like, just tell me the answer's true. Don't give me that. I don't want to be patronized. Yes, have you ever, that bar means it repeats forever. So if you had something that was like 0.27, that means it's 0.272727. So the bar can actually cover as many numbers as repeats.
So why you didn't put it here?
So why I didn't put what where? Oh, just because I rounded. So on the test, I'm going to tell you where to round to. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Continue in this fashion. Yeah. Yeah. So what about 0.13%? Oh wait, I'm still here. 2/9 is 0.2222. You could put the bar if you want to, and then that would be 22.22%, right? If I move it, oh, I put this in the wrong place now. 0.2222, 0.2222%. So you can see it on your key.
I was gonna go back over, you got 9x over 9 equals 1/9.
Yeah, because right here, 10x minus x is 9x. 1.1 forever minus
Yeah.
0.1 forever. These cancel, so I get 1.
Yeah.
And then I can solve for x. And what was x? X was my fraction that equals this.
Well, how can you just divide it by?
To solve for x.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. X represented the fraction that was this. I did this business, solve for x. Now I know what the fraction is that does this. That's what algebra does, right?
Yeah.
I say I don't know the result. Let me work backwards, and then hey, there it is. I love it. All right. Let me see. Blah blah blah. Blah. Where was I? Oh. 0.13%. This is the one where your brain says that poor little thing is already so tiny. But it don't matter. Which way do I move the decimal? I got to move it that way. It is 8%, so I must move it back this way to make it a decimal. Right? So we're going to add a 0 in there. Right? And again, the decimal number will always be smaller than the percent number was. And what fraction is this? What place is that in? Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. And again, this is all in the answer key. Just kind of giving you backstory. This one was nice. Why is that fraction nice? Yeah, 25. You can make 25 become 100, which is what percentage is based on. And multiply by what to make it 100? 4. So yeah, 12 hundredths is, by definition, 12%. 12 per 100, 12%. Bam. And of course, as a decimal, that would just be 0.12. You guys. Percent to decimal, move it back that way. Bam. You put a 0 there if you want to. And then 456%. What is that as a decimal? 4.56. 1 is 100%, so 400% would be like 4. Right, that makes sense. And then how do I write that as a fraction? There's actually two things you could do. What's 456%? 456 over 100. Or you could say 4 and 56 hundredths. And these are the same thing, aren't they? This is just the mixed number of this. Either one. And then this one's basically the same idea. This one's insane. What is that as a percentage? 102%. Yeah, dude. Is that right? And then what did I put as a fraction? I can't remember. I probably did 41 and 200ths, but you could also do 4102 over 100. Either way. One's just the mixed number of the other one. Alright. So we know we have a long weekend. We don't have Monday, don't come here because nobody else will be here. Maybe security will be here, but so on Tuesday I am in my office before class. If you email me over the weekend, I actually do check email every now and again. If you have burning questions over the weekend, feel free.
If we're done with one homework or something, then we email?
No, there's no purpose to do that. Just give it to me
Oh, you
when you
want
come
to
back.
see the whole?
Yeah. But if you have a question on something, email me that question.
Did you finish the homework?
Huh?
Did you finish?
I didn't finish paying home. I'm sorry. Good.